Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. For our third and final video on this Motivational Monday, we have Madi Prewett clarifying her comments that she made on a podcast regarding her upcoming book. I'm going to get into all of this right now. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, also on Patreon at patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content, where you can watch me make the podcast. And if you just want to listen to the podcast, every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour. And we've actually got a lot of content to get to, all of which I've shared already on Bachelor Rush Hour. But before I get into Madi and what she said, we have Kelly Flanagan right here. She posted this reel, which says, "I love you down to your bones." And I'm assuming she's talking about her new beau. Look at that. Gives him the dip. She's head over heels for him. We'll have to see if that means an engagement is on the way. We know that that would be a fantastic bachelor wedding. And also, Thomas had commented this on his pregnant fiance's belly. "Booper, I'm so proud of you. 40 weeks of sacrificing everything to make our family whole. I am in awe of who you are. I am amazed by what you've done, and I cannot wait to love you every day more than the last as mom." The Thomas Jacobs, Becca Kufrin family that is developing here might be my favorite in Bachelor Nation. Very, very happy for them and all that is coming in their life. And also, Raven Gates had talked about becoming a mom and the struggle that she has. I do want to quickly go to, she talked about nursing and things like that, but she talked about gender disappointment right here. Just briefly, this is very interesting because it's a new term I haven't heard about before. Well, as you guys might know, in my video, I'm trying to pull it up right now, that I did with Jared here, if we just go to Dave Neal Show, Jared, I actually asked Jared about gender disappointment that he had to deal with because Ashley, his wife, was feeling gender disappointment. Some people tried to shame her about it, but then a lot of people said, no, it's actually real. So now after that topic, we see Raven talking about it and saying that she didn't feel gender disappointment, but after having several boys, she says, 1 week while I was still pregnant with Max, I had 7 women in 1 week tell me that I needed to keep going until I had a girl because boys don't take care of their moms in old age, which I thought was a bizarre thing to say. But after 7 women telling me that, I started thinking, well, what if my boys don't love me? I'll just have to be okay with that. Then she said in the part she shares an example of how her boy did love her. Of course, boys love their moms. Come on, that's ridiculous. But either way, gender disappointment is a real thing. And I think it's okay. It's okay to feel your feelings, folks. I think that's what we've all learned. All right, and feeling her feelings is Madi Prewett. Let's go to several different clips here. She dedicated her new book that's coming out, I believe, tomorrow to her husband. We'll get into that clip. But here she is, clarifying comments she made about a previous podcast she did.
A couple days ago on Instagram, you said, after 2 or 3 dates, you need to know his intention. Are you saying after 2 or 3 dates, it needs to be like, this is going to marriage or it's not?
No, I don't think it has to be like, hey, I see you as my wife.
Right. I mean,
I think honestly, I would run away. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I'd run away, but I think I would be a little alarmed. You know, from the very beginning, we did say, hey, I'm not dating just to date. Yeah. I'm not dating just for a good time. Yes. Like, I'm not dating just to say that I have a boyfriend.
Right.
I am dating with the end goal being marriage.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to find someone that will make me more like Jesus, that will push me closer to Jesus, and that will help me make a difference for Jesus.
Yeah.
And if you're not it, I'm going to let you know probably pretty early on because I don't want to waste my time.
I don't want to waste either. Yeah.
A lot of active listening there by the podcast host. Whenever, I don't want to get into it. Whenever someone's like, yeah, it feels like okay, you get what I'm saying. Well, good. I mean, look, the truth is if my wife told me on date 2 that she wasn't dating for a good time and she was looking for the one, while that makes sense, I think I could have also said the same thing. I think I would also, in a reactionary way, be a little turned off to be like, whoa, calm down, Like sometimes the best environment for connection is time, is a little bit of time to get to know each other and not put too much pressure on each other. And I think she would agree with that. I think you can be very direct in what you're looking for, but not have pressure. But we've all been in relationships. You guys can leave a comment, let me know. We've all been in relationships where one person's a little hot and heavy. They're telling you, I love you. They're love bombing you. They're this and that. And you go, whoa, calm down. We don't want to be manipulated. We don't want to think people are saying what they want us to hear to get in our pants and this and that. So I understand the idea of being intentional, but at the same time, I do like hearing this podcast host kind of question what she actually meant. All right, here is Madi dedicating her new book to her husband.
I dedicated this book to you.
No, you didn't.
I did.
What? What? You dedicated the book to me?
This book is dedicated to my husband, Grant.
But my question is, does the book have that swag?
Does it have like this swag?
Girl, she don't know. Okay, so either way, good on her. She dedicated the book to her husband. And then also, I mean, look, I'm telling you this. If praying to God makes your social media this good, I'm going to have bruised knees, okay? Because she is doing such a good job. And oh my gosh, the people, I made a video the other day that was, very heartfelt about getting banned and all these issues. And I had a handful of people get upset that I said, oh my God or something. I don't even remember what I said, but they thought I was taking God's name in vain. And I made this whole video.
Oh my God.
That properly explained my point, and the response from people were, "Don't say God's name in vain." Like they like the whole video went right over their head. But I'll tell you what, I'm sure God is a fan of Taylor Swift. So here's Madi, the Taylor Swift of the evangelical South. Madi, the Taylor Swift of Waco, Texas, says the Taylor Swift Eras Tour giveaway to celebrate my new book, The Love Everybody Wants, coming out tomorrow. I wanted to give away 2 Eras Tour tickets for New Orleans on October 25th, 2024. Wait a second. Hold on. Taylor Swift is performing her tour next year? How long is this tour? Giveaway ends 9:25 at midnight. What's the date today? So the giveaway. So for the next week, you can join this giveaway. I'm already. You guys think I'm a hater of Madi Prewett? I'm in her email list. She's got top-notch PR working for her. Not just this publicity event, but it's like I'm just guessing has 3 to 5 people working full-time on her book right now for the press. I'm just saying that because of all the emails that I've been getting and all that. Good for her.
Can overlook some red flags, some things that make the relationship toxic or unhealthy or just not God's best.
Like, date who they are, not who you want them to be. Because when you date who you want them to be, they will always drag you further behind.
Do not date potential. I think that's something that is so dangerous, is you're hoping they'll change, you're hoping they'll get better, you're hoping things will look different in the future. If only this would happen, if only this would happen. And that is just a dangerous place to be.
So she says don't date potential. I agree and disagree. And she actually has lots of comments from people disagreeing with her, which I think is refreshing that people can have this type of conversation. I think you can date potential, but don't date somebody for what you want them to be. You can date potential in that everybody's growing and working on themselves and this and that, but don't date someone who's, I don't know, an atheist and praying, hoping they'll become a Christian. Like that's not necessarily dating a potential. That's dating your delusion, like painting red flags white. So I think they kind of have 2 different arguments happening here.
10 years, you're not like, when he's the father or she's the mother of your children, looks aren't going to be enough. Mm-hmm. And how athletic they are is not going to be enough. Like, she's going to be the mom of my children. And I want her, I want to know that she's going to lead them towards God.
Yeah.
She will sire she will sire kids of God, All right. So some comments are interesting. David Porsche says, I'm not saying this is bad advice, but I'm hesitant to really take anyone seriously about relationships until they have been married 25 plus years and raise kids and still love each other. So I kind of agree with that. It's like, look, I'm not telling Madi not to write her book. Write all the books you want, Madi. Go for it. You know what I mean? But, walk the walk, and you'll probably look back on this and go, oh my gosh, I wrote a book about finding the love you want 1 year into a relationship. Talk about pressure to make that relationship work, and you hope that they do, but they were engaged months into it, this and that. Cecilia said, no, please don't tell people to not date potential. Are we supposed to be perfect and whole and as mature as we'll ever be at 25? Absolutely not. I'm not trying to be hateful towards your perspective in any way. This is just really dangerous advice to give people who may be in loving and healthy relationships, but both have things to work on and grow in. So yeah, I mean, look, do I think advice can be dangerous? I mean, it's up to people to take whatever advice they want, you know? Madi has the right to talk about this, and people can take it or leave it. But I hate the idea that people give dangerous advice. I mean, she's not telling people like what drug to take. She's just saying, I think Madi here, that's right, Dave Neal defending Madi Prewett. I think Madi here is perfectly fine in discussing this. The message this post is going to send to a lot of people is don't date anyone that has apparent areas they are struggling in. Tim Keller has given a great analogy on this in one of his sermons. When looking for a partner, don't go out looking for a perfectly sculpted marble statue. Look for a beautiful slab of marble that you can help be a part of that process of forming, which again, I don't think that's what Madi and Grant are saying at all. I don't think they're saying not to do that. I think when they talk about potential, they talk about don't lure people into who you want them to be. It doesn't mean they have to be that final marble statue. Do I have that right? I'd love to know what you guys think. But I do hate when people say you're giving dangerous advice. It's like, well, don't get advice from some 24-year-old millionaires of a son's billionaire who lives in a basketball court. You know what? Like, don't take their advice then. You know, we live in this world where people, like, I had this issue, not to rant, but here we are. I had this issue when I had my conversation with Dr. Brian Abasolo when I talked about a literal pharmaceutical injury that I had. You know, that could have been life-threatening. And people said, oh, it's dangerous to be talking about these. You know, I mentioned that I think sugar can be bad for you. It's dangerous to be giving this advice. Shut up. Go have a baguette. Whatever. You know what I mean? You're telling me it's dangerous to share my personal opinions on things. I'm happy for Madi sharing her opinion, and I'm happy for her for having her book. Now, the whole idea about believing what you're saying, I believe she believes what she's saying. I also think she is making a killing by being a Christian. Let me know what you guys think. That's going to do it for me today. If you want more content, go to Bachelor Rush Hour. We talked about that crazy Instagram lady who got kicked off of a flight. We talked about the Real Housewives of Orange County. We talked about a fighter jet that's just gone missing. That's right. All of that and more on today's Bachelor Rush Hour.